Southern Cameroonians, my dear brothers and sisters, dear brave warriors of our liberation struggle, accept revolutionary greetings from me, John Bakuro, on this Sunday, the 26th day of January in the year of our Lord 2020. Today, I come with a message from the consortium. The consortium has today issued a press release making a proposal to all Southern Cameroonians based in the diaspora. This proposal has also been addressed to all our organizations, movements, and groups that are involved with our struggle. This message has also been addressed to all other stakeholders involved with the Southern Cameroon's liberation struggle. It is a call to action. My dear people, the consortium is urging all Southern Cameroonians based in the diaspora that we should stand up and speak again, that we should rise up and let the world hear from us once more, that we should cause our people on the mainland in the Southern Cameroons who are going to be locking down, during this period of elections being imposed on our people, to feel that we are all in this together. This initiative is derived from a report that was presented to the consortium by myself after a delegation of the consortium went around scouting in international offices for support to our cause. And we were reminded that we have been off the streets for just too long, that it is so long since the world last saw us demonstrating, since the world last saw us crying, since the world last saw us exposing the atrocities that are going on in the Southern Cameroons. If you take a look at what has been happening since the start of this month of January 2020, we have lost a lot of civilians here and there. A lot of our villages have come under serious attack. The rate at which the army of La République du Cameroun, the occupational force, has been burning our villages has quadrupled. While all this has been happening, we have stayed silent. While all this has been happening, we have used other traditional methods, mainly the social media, to address these concerns. My dear people, this is why the consortium has taken upon itself the initiative to send this clarion call for a non-partisan worldwide demonstration. We call it non-partisan because we don't want anyone anywhere to consider that this is a political stint by any group or the other. The consortium doesn't have representations in the diaspora. The consortium doesn't have branches across the world. That is why we can't pretend to say that we are the ones who are taking upon ourselves to organize this movement. We can only propose. We can only throw it out there to all Southern Cameroonians across the world that let us once more rise up, take the challenge without bothering to know who belongs to what group, mix again, come out again together and show the world that despite the differences that we have once in a while, the things that unite us are more than those that divide us. My dear people, I know that there are a lot of people who will say this is a beautiful idea and will say it is good to go with it. There are some people, they may be few, who will say, but who is the consortium? What is the consortium to come up with this idea? My dear people, look not at who is bringing the idea. Look at the beauty of the idea and let us try to see as much as possible how we go with it. With instructions from my colleagues of the consortium, I have reached out already to some of the leaders of the various groups, movements, and organizations in our liberation struggle. And I'm convinced that by the close of today or tomorrow, some of them may be coming out there already with press releases to support this initiative. I'm still struggling to get to the rest of the people that I haven't reached out to say, let each group, let all of us wherever we are, Let us appropriate this idea to ourselves and make it work. The 7th of February will be just 2 days away from the colonial elections that are being imposed on our people. But more importantly, our demonstration is not about those elections mainly. Our demonstration is about letting the world know what is happening to our people more and more. I don't know if you read an article that was published by the former youth president of the National Union for Democracy and Progress, a political party that was operating in La République du Cameroon. His message was simple. His cry was clear that La République du Cameroon is no longer targeting but those who are carrying arms. They are targeting our civilians with the view to reducing our people to the barest of expression of humanity, with the view to reducing our people to abject poverty, so that when they come with 1,000, with 2,000, with 500 francs, they can manipulate our people into doing whatever they want, into saying whatever they want them to say, into carrying out whatever action they want them to carry, so that they will pass a contrary message to the world about what our true expectations and aspirations are. My dear people, if that message doesn't make you feel so worried that you have to rise up again and be counted, it does to me. My dear people, this is the time more than ever before that we need to take back our struggle into our hands. We need to take back our destiny into our hands. Look at what is happening on the international scene. They are beginning to ask questions. What is this struggle all about? Is it about a little group of people who have picked up arms and entered into the forest to give, angry moments to President Paul Biya and his people who are simply going about carrying out their activities of governance? Or it is still a popular mass movement of people who are tired of colonialism, who are tired of being subjected to slavery and servitude? We have to answer this question. And the only way to answer this question is to come out there like we did on the 22nd of September 2017. My dear people, a lot of people have reached out to me since they saw this press release and said, this is a beautiful idea. This is a wonderful thing that we really have to do, but it would appear the time is short. Oh Lord, I ask myself this question. Trouble doesn't signal to you when it comes. Let us act spontaneously as we have acted before. We have done this in the past, people. Let us do it again. In the past, we have lifted the feet of deadlines and everything and been able to come out there, my people. We have seen that even in the past, people came out in snow and stood out there because we were all worried, because we have all been challenged, because we all feel the pains that our people are going through. When I look at the picture of the little girl standing in their compound in Bali, which compound was reduced to rubble with no one else around her. Probably her parents, brothers, and sisters had already been killed or had taken to the forest because they didn't have anywhere else to go but to run for safety. And she stood in the whole wide world. A little girl to whom I can't even give up to 5 years of age. She was confused. She was lost. Where will she go to? These are the pictures that make me angry. These are the pictures that make me feel like we are not doing enough, that we must arise and do it again. Some called me and said, Mr. Akuro, you know that the current atmosphere among us, the people of the Southern Cameroons, has become so tense and so toxic that with this proposal coming from the consortium, some people will attack it just because it comes from the consortium. So I think that this proposal that you are making will be impossible to execute. And when I heard that, I decided to go on to research and find out why the word impossible will still be used in recent days. And then I met Napoleon Bonaparte when he said, the word impossible is not in my dictionary. No wonder. He won too many wars. He won too many battles because he never ever let the word impossible to frighten him when he needed to take action. Then I met Robert Schuller, who said the only place where your dream becomes impossible is in your own thinking. And I said, oh yeah, this is true. If we decide to think that between now and the 7th of February, we cannot mobilize ourselves in good numbers and get onto the streets to express our frustration to the world, then we will make it impossible. But if we are determined and feel the pain and say we must do something, it is time for us to stop inaction and start action all over once more without budging where the call has come from. Then the word impossible will become useless. And then there is this French proverb that says to believe a thing is impossible is to make it so. This means that if we believe that it is impossible, then it will definitely be impossible. But my dear people, I know just how much to count on the people of the Southern Cameroons. I know just how much to count on our diaspora. We have been able to overcome challenges worse than this ones. At least this time, we have almost 2 weeks to put ourselves together. The consortium doesn't know how to take authorizations anywhere. A lot of our people based in the diaspora know how to do those things. Pick up the challenge from here and run with it. My dear people, this is not time for anyone to want to seek personal glory. This is not time for any group to want to seek personal credit for anything. We have told ourselves it is important for us to throw this idea out there and let us all work together, give it shape. Let us all work together, modify a few modalities about how we make it work, and let people in the various countries sit together and determine exactly how it will work where they are. Craft messages, craft programs, do everything possible to make this idea work. We have brought out the idea, and that is where we end. All we will do as individuals from the consortium will be only to also participate wherever we are located with the various groups to see that we make this idea come to fruition. This is the time for us to work as hard as possible, my dear people, to refocus our struggle. And now, let me say this about the call for contributions that I made. I want to very heartily and very honestly congratulate all of those who heeded to this call, despite a lot of discouraging messages that went around. A good lot of these people defied all those discouraging messages and decided to heed to this call. It is true that what came in is not enough because we're able to have just close to $4,000, but our foot soldiers on the ground were initially about 1,500. They reduced to about 500. What they need is in tens of millions to continue doing this work that they are doing. They will continue working even after the so-called fake elections from La République du Cameroon would have come and gone. My dear people, when we were in those offices, scampering for international support, and they asked us, Mr. Akuro, we watch you. We saw you launch a call for funds. So can you tell us about how much did your people bring in? Did you have up to 1,000 people? We heard you talk about 18,000 people watching you generally. Did you have up to 1,000 people contribute? I was tongue-tied, I could not talk. And they told me, and you people expect the world to mourn more than the bereaved. And you people expect the world to come and do it for you. They said, Mr. Akuro, nobody will do it for you. You people have to do it yourselves. The moment you people decide to pick up the whole mantle and start getting serious, and we start hearing that you people go on fund drives and you come up with 1 million in 1 week, you come up with 2 million in 3 weeks, we will know that you people have decided truly to take back your country. You don't take back your country by raising $3,000, $4,000 after 1 month of a clarion call for just a $10 donation. My dear people, sometimes we're unable to get these resources. Because I tell myself, anyway, I don't need to contribute. There are other people who will contribute. And a good lot of other people say like that. And in the end, perhaps only 10, 15, 20, 30, perhaps 100 people contribute. This is a shame to us. We must arise and tell the rest of the world we are truly angry with what is happening to us. And the only way to express our anger and frustration is to do what will help us to actually get out of the situation in which we find ourselves. This is why I am coming here once more to make this clarion call for those contributions, my people. We need these resources. We need this money to get going. We need this money to get the people who are on the ground facing all kinds of difficult situations, moving, marching on foot, under the rain, in sunshine, in the forest, fighting with animals here and there to go and meet our various communities and strengthen their resolve to stay in this struggle and strengthen their resolve to overcome the difficult challenges that we are facing. Some of our people get frustrated because of the lack of support. and end up finding themselves picking little sums, party sums, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 CFA from La République du Cameroon to start working against us. Let us rise to the occasion. Let us rise to the occasion and change the dynamics in our liberation struggle. The future of our struggle lies in our hands. Before I end this conversation this Sunday, I got up this morning to sad news again from Bui County. My dear people, in my last communication, I pointed out that it is time enough for us to really sink our differences and understand that whenever there is misunderstanding or there are misunderstandings among our various actors in this struggle, the best thing to do is to come out with a call for de-escalation. The best thing to do is to come out with a message of reconciliation. We cannot afford to come out there rather to try to, spew more hate. Now take a look at what has happened. When brothers fight against themselves, what happens? A stranger will take the harvest. This is exactly what has happened. I have a very heavy heart at this moment, hearing what has happened in Kumbo. We had the first warning in Guzang. We have had other warnings in Meme, in Boyo, and now what has unfolded in Bui County should tell us that the next time such a thing happens, if we're not careful, we will be folding up. If we don't take this opportunity, at least to do what Shakespeare in his days portrayed in his best-selling book, Romeo and Juliet, that when the Capulets and the Montagues saw what internecine quarreling between their two families had done to themselves, with the loss of their only children, they didn't think that it was time to keep planning for more revenge. There was time to keep preparing for further vengeance. On the contrary, they felt that it was time enough to bury the hatchet. They came together, they made peace, and they competed in trying to see how to make that peace work. Can we borrow a leaf from that, my dear people? It is not impossible for us to come back together and sit like brothers and sisters and tell ourselves the future we are fighting for is for all of us. And tell ourselves if this struggle were to crash, no one should tell any other person what is going to happen to all of us. It is Martin Luther King that says, we have to learn to live together with our differences or we will all die together as fools. I'm using this opportunity to urge each and every one of us not to take this as a moment again to start throwing blame. Please, let us stop the blame game at this point in time. Let us decide at least to look at each other eyeball to eyeball and tell ourselves we were all wrong. Not a single one of us was right in these circumstances. What unfolded in Bui doesn't give reason to any one of us. We were all wrong. I mean, all of us collectively. Let us admit this. And that will give us the opportunity to sit around a table and try to see how to ensure this thing never happens again. And I'd like to launch this call that each and every one of us, as we are preparing for this massive demonstration, let us say what happened in Guzang, what happened in Boyo, what happened in Meme some time ago, and what has just happened in Bui shall never happen again. Let us say never again shall we let this happen. Let us say never again shall this kind of thing happen with us involved in this struggle. If we take this challenge, I am convinced that we will be able to overcome. There will be a lot of reasons out there for us to throw blame, but let us be courageous enough to reject those reasons. Let us be courageous enough to say no to that opportunity to throw blames and say yes to an opportunity to make peace. My people, it is possible. Yes, we can do it. To God be the glory.